What do you think of him getting the job in the first place?
I mean, I was surprised he got the job in the first place because, he didn't do fantastic well at his last job, which was the Napoli job. So, they've gone from Carlo Ancelotti to Rafa Benitez. And Benitez does have a decent record, though. He is, you can't argue what he did at Chelsea the little time he was there. You can't argue what he did at Liverpool, though he did taper off towards the end. And then Valencia, of course, he's got a good record, but he's not got the record that's likened to the greats in football, has it? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I disagree completely with that.
What do you
His
mean?
record's fabulous.
How's this record fabulous?
Well, okay, he gets it. Hold on, he gets in charge of Valencia. He wins the Spanish league with Valencia. That's really good. Okay?
Yeah, that's really
then
good.
He goes to Liverpool, and I don't know if you remember some of the players on that team. Smeetser.
Oh yeah.
Frickin' who else was on that team?
Dietmar Hamann.
Hamann was okay.
No, he was quality, man. He was good. What, are you talking about shit players now, are you?
Yeah.
Milan Baros.
I mean, they had a lot of. He
was quite good actually at the time, but
players. Not only did he win the Champions League with that team, he got them to another final. So he's made 2 Champions League finals with Liverpool, and then he goes to where did he go next? Gosh, where did he go next?
He went
to Inter, and I think he might have won Serie A, but I might be wrong there. And then he goes to Chelsea, and then wins the Europa League. Then he goes to Napoli, who haven't had success since Maradona, and he wins the Coppa Italia. And then he goes to Real Madrid. I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's won. He's done a few things. He's not very good handling the media.
He's a complete melter, mate. He's a complete melter.
In front of the camera, he is. But that's okay.
He should be a GP, mate. He should be a GP. He looks like a GP.
He won the league with Valencia. He's taken Liverpool to 2 Champions League finals with a squad.
Hang on, did Liverpool
had a
get
lot
to
of
2 Champions League finals under Benitez?
Yep, they won one and then they lost to. I can't remember, but they definitely got to the second one. I remember Steven Gerrard playing as a number 10.
Are you sure?
100%. Mate.
Are you sure you're not thinking of that time when we won the Champions League and Chelsea knocked them out in the semis?
No, Liverpool before that got there.
They
got to 2 Champions League finals.
Well, I couldn't remember that.
He's
won trophies.
Okay, he's won trophies with Valencia, Liverpool, Inter, Chelsea, and Napoli, and then he's gone to Real Madrid and 68%. It's ridiculous. I was trying to look at the gross annual revenue of Manchester United back in the 80s today, but maybe it wasn't made public back then. Maybe they didn't trade that way. I don't think they did, actually, so we wouldn't know. But would it be reasonable to say this is before the Premier League, this is before TV rights, this is before United were a global power? United's gross annual revenue, what would you, just give me a guess, what you would think it would be in the 80s? And you might be off and I might be completely off, but let's just see where your guess is.
What, bearing in mind it's like 500 odd million now, or whatever it is.
In the 80s, considering, the highest transfer fee in England was just over £1 million, considering that,
for 30 million, something like that.
We bought Mark Hughes from Barcelona for 1.5. 30, I'd go less than that, I really would. But just, and I might be completely wrong, but it's 576 million this year. In 2005, it was 180, so 10 years, and then you go back to 95, you go back to mid-80s when Fergie took charge. I've got to be thinking, you remember Shearer, first 15, most expensive player in the world, £15 million. That was in mid-90s.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to, well, United spent 250 million, but remember, there's players sold in that. It's like saying, well, Liverpool made 50 million off Torres. Well, they didn't. They bought Carroll for 35 million immediately after. So they made a 15 million pound net profit from that.
No, they didn't. They made a 35 million pound loss. That's what they actually made.
Right. Exactly. So
I've got Rafa Benitez's record in front of me, by the way, if you want me to scrutinise it for you.
Just hold on for me. Let me just get this point out, and then you can do that. So I guess my point is that Van Gaal and United have spent 250 because the money's been there. People are making points that if you spend that kind of money, you have to win a title. Completely disagree. It's a business model. Yeah, don't get me wrong, you have to win titles, but he's been in the job 18 months. Now, I think the problem is here that this possession style of football that they're playing, which I don't like, to be honest with you. I'd much rather than play, as the Americans would say, ground and pound, but just get after teams. I really would. But at the same time, with this Rafa deal as well, he's gone in there and he's playing a certain brand of football. Again, brand, bollocks word, but a certain style. And obviously it's not being liked. But I was just hearing the other day that Mourinho's too boring for United. Carragher said he doesn't fit the the thing of attacking football like Man United. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think in the season Real Madrid won the league when Mourinho was manager. Real Madrid scored the most goals in La Liga history.
They did, and they won it by like 15 points.
Exactly, and I know that they've got Ronaldo and players like that. Well, of course you're going to score goals, but Chelsea have players like what's his face? He was so good and so bad. Why can't I think of his name?
Drogba.
Not Drogba. This year he was well.
This year, Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, teams, good players don't make a team just on their own. It's all about, the manager and the tactics and there's a whole infrastructure out there, the coaching and everything. So
over 100 goals in a league season isn't exciting, apparently. That's Mourinho.
I know, unbelievable. Did you also see Chelsea when the first season he came back? So last season when they won the league, the first half of the season.
Yep.
Was it the season before?
Well, no, he came back halfway through the season before. Oh no,
oh right, yeah. Well, the start of last season, for the first few months, Chelsea were unbelievable. They're ripping teams to shit. Fabregas setting everything up, pulling the string. Diego Costa putting everything away. They're attacking, they're penetrating, and so I don't know how anybody can say that. Yes, the thing is sometimes you have to play defensive. You've got to play the team you're up against.
Again, because with Mourinho, we've seen it and I think we judge. Because you don't just watch a lot of his games that he's coached when he's coached in Europe, apart from, Porto versus Celtic in the Europa final, and then Porto when they won the Champions League, and then Inter Milan when they won the Champions League. Well, yeah, I mean, it was defensive, but they were playing. It wasn't really defensive, though, because they're playing this Barcelona team, the Inter team that beat Barca, who overplayed drastically. So, yeah, all right, do that. And then they battered them because they were just hitting them on the break every time. But I guess going back to Benitez and Van Gaal and this style of play conversation and going back to the business model, yeah, it's unrealistic expectations in my opinion, just my opinion, to say that United have to win the title every time.
They don't have to win the title every time. I think half of the reason why
you spent $250, you've got to win the title this year. No, that's bollocks.
I think half the thing would be if we were actually looking like we could possibly win the title. That'd be nice. Like the sort of football that we're playing. But I mean, I think Benitez has been sacked too soon. They're still in the title hunt. They're all in all those competitions. Now, Van Gaal's obviously got us knocked out of the Champions League. We're getting in a group that we should be winning, really, if we're being totally honest. He's got us, sixth in the league. We're not playing good football. He's had a lot more time, a lot more money than Rafa Benitez in order to do something.
That's a good thing, Joe.
Yeah, is it a good thing though? Because if you could,
it is, because that's why
listen,
it's so ridiculous right now.
Well, if you give something precious to a complete moron, then that moron over time isn't going to become less of a moron. He's just going to become
complete moron. Who's won a European Cup and won titles everywhere.
Oh come on, that was a freakish Ajax side.
But still done very well with other sides.
You could have managed that Ajax side to the
Netherlands.
League final.
Netherlands.
Yeah, no, that's quite an achievement in the World Cup. Fair enough. No, he's a good manager. He's won Bundesliga.
No, I'm saying what you were saying when he joined Man United.
It was an amazing achievement. Yeah, that's an amazing achievement to get the Netherlands third.
What do you? Okay, let's wrap this up. But I want to ask you a question. How is it sane to, I don't care what he did as a player. It doesn't make you a coach. He was an amazing player. Beautiful player. But how is it saying to take someone with Rafa Benitez track record, okay, and who's got the 2 Champions League finals? We just said all the things. Read it off for me. Read it off for me. You said you were going to read it off.
Right, yeah, so we've got it here. So he's got 4 runner-up medals, or whatever you want to call it. FIFA Club World Cup with Liverpool in 2005, Carling Cup, Liverpool, UEFA Champions League with Liverpool in 2007 in Athens. Who was that against then?
AC Milan. They came back from 3-0 down in the final.
No. That's the win, and that's in Istanbul.
Oh, the loss.
The 2007 one.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Hang on, I'm going to look it up. But
they got outplayed. I remember the game. I remember Gerrard because I thought Gerrard was out of position that game.
Oh, it was AC Milan.
Yeah.
So the AC Milan got revenge.
Got revenge, but we never remember that, of course.
No, I don't remember that game. It's funny that.
I do. I remember the game. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And then the Club World Cup. But if you look at what he's won, you can't really argue with it. To be fair, so he's
all
won
right.
this.
And then, but here's my point: you put a guy now who's the manager, quote unquote manager of Real Madrid, who hasn't coached a professional club at a first team level. How does that make any sense? He might do great, but that just doesn't make any sense. It's insane.
Well, it's the same argument as putting Ryan Giggs in charge of Manchester United.
Right.
That's why it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on, because he's Mr. Real Madrid on Zinedine Zidane. He's
don't get me wrong. You have to give these people a chance, and someone who's smart will instantly go to Pep Guardiola, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing. Absolutely, I get that. But you're taking your chances. I mean, just because you're a great player doesn't mean you're a great coach. Look at Bobby Charlton. I'll put Bobby Charlton up with Zidane any day. I really would. Couldn't coach. So, I mean, it doesn't, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean just because you're a great player means you can't coach either. I mean, we'll see how he does. I've got to go, mate. Good chat.
No worries, mate. Have a good one then. I'll catch you soon.
All right.